Welcome. Ziggy1X here with another NieR Reincarnation video, and yes! Came a little earlier than we were expecting, but we got it, and we have got the trailer now for Chapter 5 of People in the World, and it's a doozy. Boy, is it a doozy. I've gone through it, and I've scrubbed it scene by scene, frame by frame. I've thought about some of the implications that may go with it, and I'm pumped. This is going to be a great story, and like we suspected from the last chapter, we are now leaving the cage. The last chapter, just as summary, we were introduced to 10H, and 10H on the moon. We found out that the cage was in fact on the moon server, which is something we've suspected for a long time in the community. And we also found out that there was something wrong with 10H. And this is confirmed, by the way, in this trailer. So with no further ado, let's go ahead and watch this. Let's kind of digest it scene by scene. I've taken a few clips and a few scenes, and I've got some thoughts. I've got some speculation. 10H, she's going to be our next character, which is great. We haven't had a new character in a while. And so we're probably going to get an abstract 10H on or shortly after the story drops. She'll probably be cool. I mean, the costume design from what I've seen in this trailer so far is just peak NieR Automata-ish, so it's exciting. So yeah, I'm gonna love to see. That's basically she's gonna be everybody's new favorite girl for a little while, I think. So let's watch the trailer and see what we get.
あれね、みんなの記録をこっそり見てたんだ。リオンの旅路からユディルの逃避行まで全部ね。
予備機体の稼働を承認、汚染されたデータの復旧を完了、推奨、早急に 10H の救出を行うこと。
あそこに見えるのは刑事。
私たちはもう友達です。だからもうこの際、ウサギでもカニでも神様でも何でもいい。誰か助けて。
前に進みましょう。ここがみんなと見たかった地球なんだから。
Okay, well, that's the trailer. So now, I mean, oh boy, there is a lot to go over in that trailer. First of all, I have to, yes, the music is bumping. I love the music. I would love to just get a clean track of that. It was so cool. 10H, looking fine. Good job, art team. And the mama pod. We'll get to her in a minute. But did you guys catch that the pod actually looks like mama, except it's a pod? That was a good touch. So let's go ahead and take a look at this first scene here. So we've got punishment, the bunker, repeated infection, interesting, truth, solitary mechanical puppet, countless red pods, 006, the cage, the price, and reclaim Earth. So this page neatly summarizes a lot of what's been going on here. Let's take it from the top. Punishment and the bunker. Well, basically everybody who has, all the stories we've heard, there's been some form of punishment involved in them. There's a lot of that. That's an undertone in NieR games and really in all of the works of Yoko Taro. So that is a given. The bunker, okay, we're going to talk about that in a minute here. We saw the bunker. It looked like it was really dilapidated. So it's after the logic virus. It's after the events of NieR Automata. And by the way, I'm just going to throw this one out here while I'm thinking about it. The snow that we see in the at the end when we see the mama pod is a running theme, because in the poster for the NieR Automata concert, which is going to be happening very soon, basically right in tandem with this, there's a similar theme running. So that makes me think that there is going to be that the planning of this story that we are getting right now and the planning of the concert were meant to go hand in hand, because there are going to be reveals that piggyback off of each other. So I'm sure, by the way, all of you who are going to the concert, man, I'm happy for you. I wish I could have gone myself. But I'll be looking forward to hear what story bits we get, because I really think that there's going to be some relevant bits we get, and I think it's going to tie directly into this. The environment being what it is, just a little bit of speculation. When we eventually, because we are going to be heading to Earth, it says here, right here, reclaim Earth from who? Well, the machines, from any other number of things. Are we going to be reclaiming humanity of sorts because humanity is extinct? There's all sorts of things that we can talk about here. Is the way that data is transferred through the cage and through android bodies and all these other things, is this going to be the new reincarnation of humanity or of intelligent life and things like this that fights against the machines or any number of enemies? We've got the Watchers, which we saw. I mean, I strongly suspect the last chapter, our final boss was the Queen Beast or something along that, a big bad Watcher. And so that was in data form in the cage. So how is that infiltrating the cage? Now, we've got all these things happening at once. So when we go to Earth, are we going to be meeting 9S and 2B? How cool would that be? There's any number of things that can happen with this because we are going to be going to Earth, and it looks like everybody is going to be carried to Earth through the network, which is probably why they have to get the bunker back online, because the bunker was how Yorha communicated with the androids on Earth. And so if the bunker is acting of sorts as an intermediary between the cage and Earth, that would allow repairing the cage and then clearing the logic virus and repairing the bunker, restoring the data that was lost, and then creating that bridge to Earth, which allows now the data to be downloaded onto a pod on Earth, hilariously hiding out in a 5G cell tower, which is great. I've been surveying a ton of those lately, so I know exactly what those look like. And so it's cool. I mean, it's just the way the whole, I love deliberate things. I'm actually doing a binge of Attack on Titan right now and paying a little bit closer attention to just how deliberately everything was planned from the beginning, going all the way to where the story changes direction. Won't spoil it for you if anybody hasn't watched Attack on Titan, but man, that is a good show. Anyway, so all of these things happening. So we've got the bunker, which is a necessity. We never really thought much about the bunker after the logic virus took it and took out all the Yorha androids, but the bunker seems like it's going to be playing a critical role in things. That's awesome. Now, repeated infection. This is an interesting one because we have the infection of the cage, which is represented by the black birds. We have the infection of the bunker, which was done by the machines. That was the logic virus. So we've got all these infections and things going on. Maybe that's what it's referring to. And maybe we've got, where is it? Well, maybe that's a part of what they're doing. They're cleansing all the infections so that they can basically begin to gain ground again. Okay. So the truth and solitary mechanical puppet. So the solitary mechanical puppet really seems to me like it's 10H. And she was, we're going to look at this a little bit more, but she was doing things. And by the way, the whole story with her is, oh my gosh, I'm having a brain fart. This is terrible. I'm going to remember it a little bit later. Anyways, the story with 10H. Is about her basically rebelling against what her duty is. Her duty is to maintain the pods 006 because the pods 006 are basically the Council of Humanity. They're the ones archiving all the data on the moon, and there's something about her going AWOL. Now, the pods 006, I'm using them in the plural because it's a whole lot of pods, and by the way, it says it right there, countless red pods. Those are your pods 006. Something has happened to them. And you can see that as evidenced by the end of the last chapter, where there are just a bunch of dead red pods lying all over the place. But you have that solitary pod 006, which is Mama, the pod that she's occupying with everybody in the cage. She takes them out of the cage through that pod. So she's going to be doing something here. And we've got this right here. Now, a price. What is the price? There's always a price to pay. So what is that price? We're probably going to be learning that in this chapter. We can speculate till we're blue in the face on it. I'm just going to leave that one there, but we do know that there will be a price to pay for something to be gained. And that's what we know from this, and obviously reclaiming Earth. So let's go ahead and move to the next slide. Okay, so commencing something in exchange for most. Commencing access gives something in exchange for something underscore most. Don't know. Not entirely sure, but we're given a yes or no option. So it sounds like it's an exchange, obviously. So you're exchanging something. Oh, if we go back to the other slide, a price. So something that is precious to you. So you're exchanging something that is precious for you, maybe what is most precious for you. And so this will be interesting. Again, there's a price to pay. We've got little evidences of it throughout the trailer. We can see the silhouette of 10H in the background, same silhouette that we saw in the very first trailer when we were introduced to people in the world. So she's been present this whole time. She also has been watching this whole time. She saw all these stories. And something about what she saw changed things. Maybe it changed Mama. Maybe it changed the nature of the cage and the database. Something that 10H did maybe meddled with the status quo, and it changed things, and it put us on the course, the trajectory that we're currently on right now. So 10H being such an integral part of this, and in the trailer, we have to save 10H. There's something, proposal, that's the pod, proposal, we do this, proposal, we do that. Proposal, save 10H, okay? So she is a big part of this. We can see the bunker here. Again, not looking too great, but it's playing an integral part in what's happening. Personally, I think that it is in some way bridging the gap between Earth and the cage. I think the cage was left isolated, which is what removed it probably from corruption, from the logic virus, and any number of things. And that the bunker wasn't just acting as a deployment for the androids, but it was also acting as a midway point for data to be exchanged between Earth and the moon. So just a speculation, that's just me throwing that out there. But again, we also remember that androids have their bodies housed on Earth as well. There are android bodies still on Earth that are untouched and unused. So it actually wouldn't be terribly difficult for our protagonists to get to Earth, because all that has to happen is a bridge needs to be established between the cage and Earth via the bunker, and they would be able to occupy either pods or android bodies or any number of things, and they would be able to go to Earth. They wouldn't have to physically travel to Earth to do so. That's something that happens in Automata, but it more often happens to where the data is being transferred from place to place. And that's how the backups happen. That's how your save progress works. It's a slick system the way they do it. But the way you teleport from places in Automata is you basically just go to another body of yours that isn't currently being used, and you teleport your data via network from one location to the next, and you're in a new body. So that's, again, the precedence for this has already been set. Now we have here in this next one a few things. First of all, this looks like the bullet hell sequence that is the hacking game. And so this is clearly in data. But we also see 10H and Pod 006, aka Mama, down there. And we also see two scenes from Replicant. Now that one on the left looks like the very first scene with NieR, where the Gestalts are basically rising out of the ground. They're trying to attack his sister, Yona, and he's defending her against the I'm sorry, I said Gestalts. I meant the Shades. He's defending her against the Shades, and that's when he first unlocks the power of the grimoire, and everything goes from there. And this next scene is a scene with Kaine. I'm trying to remember who the enemy she fights in this scene is, but it is a scene from Replicant. And mobilizing the backup, chassis approved, corrupted data restored. This again, just as the subtext, this again tells me that they have now pushed back. Now the advance is on, because the whole, after the second ending of Automata, The rest of the game, all of the other endings and everything else, is basically the androids and humanity and everything else losing ground to the machines. They're slowly gaining ground in different ways. And so now we have, for the first time, maybe since that point, a changing of the tides. The tides have turned. Chassis approved. Okay, chassis approved. Now, what is a chassis? A chassis is something that you can ride in. So maybe backup chassis approved. Could that be pods? Could that be android bodies? Could that be any number of things? I mean, great. Corrupted data restored. So maybe there was data lost to the corruption. It's been restored from backups or any number of things. Maybe the cage had it in a backup. The bunker lost it. They were able to get rid of the corrupted data, send it back to the bunker, just like cleaning out a hard drive. All right. Now, this is a cool one here. We've got Hina and Yuzuki. And Hina and Yuzuki, this is going to be their chapter. We've had all of the other chapters with all of the other characters leading up to this. This is what we've been waiting for. We knew this was going to happen because it had to happen, because Hina and Yuzuki were such an integral part in the last story arc. It was building them to be used as tools for something. The sun and the moon. Now, there is relevance here, and I'm still kind of trying to wrap my brain around it, but we can see again sun and the moon being prominently played. Again, showing that every step of this story has been deliberate. There wasn't just, you get into playing games, but this happens a lot with mobile games where they put so much filler in stories to where you kind of lose the thread. You lose track of where the story's actually at. And when something from the main story actually lands, it's like a celebration. It's really exciting because, like, oh, hey, we're back to the regular story instead of months worth of filler. That hasn't been the case for Reincarnation. Everything that we have done in Reincarnation has been very deliberate. And that entire last arc, which didn't land with everybody, I personally enjoyed it, but the going back to the schoolgirl and schoolboy after we'd seen all these really cool stories in the first two arcs was kind of like, okay, well, now what are we doing here? Like, this is just, we feel like we've taken a step backwards. But then, of course, the ending of the third arc was just such a big deal that everybody kind of forgave their preconceived notions prior to that. So, but we've got them prominently playing a role here. They are helping 10H. They are helping Mama, as they were going to do, as it was implied they would do at the end of Arc 3. And their yin and yang, their sun and moon, is prominently playing into something here. I don't know what it is yet. We're going to find out, and I'm really excited to find out. It's cool to see them together too, and, not trying to kill each other. Okay, so then you see them combine it. Now, we've got two opposites making a whole. Two things, again, your yin and your yang. That's probably a good way. Me and my wife, two opposites attract kind of thing. And they're making a whole. And this is, again, going to prominently play into it. This is one of the story chapter kind of things where you're doing the side-scrolling 2D thing. And so this will be, I don't know how they're going to handle it. Is this going to be in data? Is it going to be in the memory still? Like, how is this going to be done? Is it going to be in the bunker? It looks really no different from what I've seen in the cage. But we'll see. We'll see when we get there. And then we've got this great picture of 10H, and oh boy, you artists, you guys have way too much fun with this. But we got Mama looking very Mama-ish and looking over 10H, who looks to be in not the best of shape. Now, first of all, this again brings it right back to Automata. You've got the Yorhai androids, which have a very distinct style. And so we're going to be seeing that again. And I think a lot of people, when we originally picked up NieR Reincarnation, we were thinking, how much is this going to be like NieR Automata? And it kind of wasn't. It was its own thing. But now we're kind of seeing elements of Automata coming back into it. And obviously, since it's a sequel to Automata, so now we're really seeing it. And kudos to the art team. Great shot. Cool. Cool concept, by the way. And I think one of the things that I saw bouncing around more than anything about 10H when the reveal was made about this story is we're finally going to get some official artwork on what 10H looks like, because the best picture we had before that was pretty meh. Okay, and now we have her in what looks to be a some sort of a torture position. I mean, she is obviously being tortured here. She's saying, I don't care anymore. I'll take a rabbit, a giant crab, a god, someone please help me. Basically, it's kind of it's a bittersweet thing when someone who needs help from someone but doesn't have faith in someone, then they'll hope for anything. They'll grasp onto anything. It's when you're falling, you'll grasp onto anything. It's when you're drowning, you will try and drown the person who's trying to save you because you're just grasping at anything and you're panicked. And it's that same kind of mentality. She's at her wit's end. She's grasping for anything, even the things that she doesn't personally believe in or believe that could help her, but she will take help from any of these things so long as it saves her from her current predicament. Now, resist and claim the keys to hope. Again, a return to Earth, a return to basically a pushback against the tide that has been pushing against them this whole time. And that seems to me like what this kind of running theme is that we've been repairing, and then the cage was attacked, we've repelled the attack, and now finally we're starting to push back. So that is a lot. And from 1 minute trailer, all of this from a 1 minute trailer, but I am really excited. I am so excited. So let's see what happens. It's going to be dropping on the 22nd, 23rd, depending on what part of the world you're in. And I got my daughter in the background yelling at the dog. And we will see what happens. I'm excited, guys. I hope everybody else is excited. And by the way, I saw that this was actually on an IGN trailer as well. I haven't seen IGN do a trailer for NieR Reincarnation in a really long time. I think since the first trailer. So this is cool. This is like the developers are hyping this up. They are riding this one hard. What's going to happen afterwards? Who knows? I'm here for it though. I am really excited. Prediction. Abstract 10H coming the week after the week after the story drops. That's my prediction. I'm gonna leave that there. Anyways, peace out, y'all. Have a good one. Bye.